Hello, boys and girls. This is an instructional video for day 2 of your creative writing lessons. Today, I'm in a little bit of a different setting. I'm using my phone to record how to draw a setting for you guys. So the idea for your setting, what you're going to do today, your setting development, is you're going to draw a picture of the setting of your short story in the box below. I want you to keep in mind, this is just a short story. It's just a small moment. And then on the lines in that box, you're going to actually just upload a picture for this. So you're not going to draw a picture in that box because that's really difficult to do on these drawing tools. So I actually would much rather you get creative, use a piece of paper, use crayons, colored pencils, a pen, whatever you can use, draw a picture on an actual piece of paper. So that's what I'd like you to do. The second video that you see on this slide, instructional slide, is a video of how to take a picture with your Chromebook and then how to add it to or insert it into this slide so that you're able to do that. So make sure you watch that video as well, and it'll instruct you how to do that if you don't already know. Most of you probably already do because most of you know more about computers than I do. So I'm going to go ahead and do the modeling for you today. So again, we're working on setting development. So we want to make sure when we're doing our setting that we're picking the spot of our small moment. So a small moment or short story for creative narrative writing is going to be in one place. So we don't want to draw a setting for the whole space station. We don't, even though it's pretty small, we don't want to necessarily worry about every part of the space station. Again, I want to encourage you, go back to that slide 1, go into the images and really just spend like 5-10 minutes looking through those images to get a good idea of what setting you want to use. That's what I used, and it helped me a lot. I am not an artist, so there's your fair warning. I chose to use crayons. The other suggestion that I'm going to make before I start this is my kids and I were talking about this, and I actually did this writing unit with my daughter who's also in 4th grade, and she asked to do it with Legos and to make her setting with Legos, and then she changed it into she took a picture of the Legos and then uploaded it as an insert. That is totally fine too. If you're a Lego person, you know Miss Smith is. So she, it's kind of the dog messed with it, but she has her Legos here that she used. She could use Legos. You can use Lincoln Logs. You can use wooden blocks. Whatever you want to. If you want to build instead of draw, and then take a picture of your setting for me, awesome. That's totally fine with me. Do something creative that's not just on the computer. It'll kind of get your brain, put it in a different place and help you out, I think, a little bit there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I want to make sure when we're working with setting, we want to make sure that we think about all of the different aspects. So where is our person at? What are they doing? And specifically, description, you want to make sure you also label. So for my story, I think the food room is really interesting on the International Space Station. I was looking at some of those images on the NASA webpage, and I think that it would be really interesting to have to eat in this small little space, and then the type of food that they eat is really, really cool. So that's the setting that I chose. So please don't judge my drawing here because it's not going to be great. So I'm going to use the food room. So I'm going to go ahead and write where I'm at. So whether you are in the food room or you're in the at the computer area, or look at those different things that are information on the NASA Space Station website, and it'll give you what the different areas actually are. So then I'm going to go ahead and draw my food room. So we got the room here. Again, don't judge my drawing. I got some foreshadowing. I don't know if I did that right, but that's okay. Okay, and then we got some table. We got table. Oh my goodness, guys. That's really killing it here with my drawing. And then here's my chairs. As you can see, it's really awesome. I'm going to put some air pipes going through the ceiling here because it seems like they have that all over their space station, because it's how I think that their oxygen and things are carried throughout the space station. So I'm going to add those. All right, I know that my story is going to involve some food packages because that's how astronauts eat their food. So I'm going to put food packages, which are probably not purple, but you know, it's creative writing, so why not, right? Put them on a shelf, I guess that would be smart. And then I'm going to label them because if you did not hear me talking about this, you probably would have no idea what this is because of my drawing skills. So we have that. And then one of the parts of the story that's really important is the straps on the chairs. And there's going to be a reason for that whenever I'm thinking about my story. But I also know that they have to, on the International Space Station, they have to have straps because they will float. And they need the straps to hold them down. So I'm going to add those. And I'm going to put a little window here, I think, that they can look out. They're like, look, this is the table, and then they're looking, and I don't know, maybe let's draw Earth. They're looking out the window at Earth. Okay. Terrible Earth. Good Lord. Oh, well. Okay, and then I'm just going to add like a bunch of buttons and things like that. I think there'll still be like a lot of buttons and maybe like a TV screen so they can watch each other over here. Maybe a bunch of wires and cords, I think, would be like hanging throughout the ceiling. So as you can see, I'm a really good artist. Just gonna, I don't know, add some color. So that's my setting. It's the food room. The things that are most significant for my story are going to be the straps on my chairs and the food package. How did I come up with those ideas? Because that might be what you're asking. Honestly, it was just going through those pictures, thinking about what would be the most interesting thing to write about them trying, what their daily lives on the International Space Station and eating food. Because I know about astronaut food and how it's like dehydrated and in these tiny little packages. So I thought, why not tell a story about a moment of two characters or one character in the food room and like something that funny that might happen. So the food room is where the astronauts eat their food. The next thing that you're going to be asked to do on your actual slide is to write a sentence to go with your setting. So you can do this on the actual slide. For this purposes, for this video for you guys, I'm going to write my sentence at the bottom here. So I'm going to write my goodness, my pen's not working. There we go. The food room. That's what they call it, by the way. They don't call it a kitchen or a cafeteria. They just call it the food room. Is where the astronauts, okay, it's where the astronauts eat. I guess you probably guessed that. There, use the right kind of there. Eat their food. It is located, so I used the information from the website. It is located, so make sure you tell me where in the space station your setting is. Excuse me. So it's just past, they call them nodes on the space station. So just past node 1. Excuse me. And this is where, obviously, where the food packages are stored. Okay. So give me more than a sentence, and please don't just write the food room as your explanation. I need a good, this is your whole day 2. So you need to take the time to really draw a good setting and really think about what your setting looks like, what area is it at on the space station, what's stored there, or what's done in that room or that area. So I'm going to go on to even say there's a small table. So I'm going to describe what I drew. So there's a small table, and they keep actually like strapped down with condiments, like ketchup, condiments. So that's like salt, pepper, that are strapped down, because if they're not strapped down, then they would float. Strapped down. Okay. Oop, make sure my camera, sorry about that. Strapped down. The straps on the chairs allow the astronauts to strap in. So I'm going to write that. The straps on the chairs keep the astronauts, I'm running out of room, but that's okay. Astronauts strapped in. Okay, so that's important for me to talk about. And then, so why do they need to strap in? Obviously, so they don't float. So they don't float around. I want to say so they don't float around while eating, but I'm running out of space, so I'm just going to put a period there. So when you do it, though, you have all the space you need because you will be typing it. So this is what I want to see, guys. I want you to draw a real picture or use Legos or something to build your setting, label those things, and really give me, when you write about it, please don't just write 1 or 2 words. Really describe what's going on in your picture. What is the specific significance of things that you label? Like, what are the straps on the chairs used for? Things like that. So if you draw, per se, just the window room, which is an area in this International Space Station, what are certain things in that room used for? What is the significance? And at this point, this is what's getting you ideas. So while I'm drawing this, I'm thinking, oh, well, then I could maybe write a story about accidentally not strapping myself in the chair, or my character in the chair, whatever it is. Then you really start getting those. That's what the whole point of this is to get that idea generating and get that visual in your head. And putting it down on a piece of paper is the best way to do that. So once you have this drawn and you have your sentence written, or once you have it drawn, you can write your sentence on the actual computer on that slide that you guys are going to be working on. Once you have this drawn, then go ahead and switch over to the instructional video about how to take a picture with your Chromebook and how to insert it into your slide for day 2. And I believe your slide for day 2 is, yes, it's slide 6. So watch that video on slide 5 and then insert and put it on your slide 6 and then add your setting description. So this is it for day 2, but it should please take your time on it. This took me about 13 minutes, and I'm a teacher and I knew what I was doing. So it should take you about 15-20 minutes to really draw a good setting. Again, please don't just draw a rocket. You're not on a rocket. You're on the International Space Station. So look at what that means. Find what room, what area of the space station. Maybe your character's outside, like working on the outside of the space station. But I need to see where your character's at and be able to visualize that. So if you have any questions, ask your teacher or ask me. I'd be happy to answer or help you out. But if you're having trouble, the video I just made and then the video on how to insert it into the Google slide should be helpful. So go ahead and rewatch it if you need to. Don't do the same thing as me, but you can definitely do the food room. It's an interesting room, but make your own picture and put your own spin on it. So have fun, and thanks for watching.